Hey guys, Sublord here, back in with another action figure review. Today we'll be continuing our looks at the Transformers Studio Series Revenge of the Fallen Constructicons with Part 1 of the main torso, Leader Class, Scavenger, or Demolisher if you're from Shanghai. That said, this course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro, and unlike the very bizarre deluxe class Hook, I think this guy takes the Bayformer aesthetic and actually makes it work, despite how bizarre it truly is with the two giant wheel thing going on there. Listen, I don't know what they were smoking when they conceived some of these Decepticon, Constructicon, whatever-a-con designs back in 08, 07, 09, whenever they were developing the character models, but must have been some pretty good shit. That's all I'm going to say. But there is more than one leader class to combine Devastator. The other one being the leader class Overload. Not to be confused with yours truly, who will not fit on screen with Demolisher. I mean Scavenger. I mean, yeah, it's the same damn thing. Who cares? But there you go. If I can get him back behind camera without knocking more stuff over. Oh look, McFarlane DC Multiverse stands that don't actually help the figures stand up. Ain't that some shit? Taking a closer look at Scavenger here. He's got his evil, almost bearded looking head. It's on a pretty good disc and hinge joint with ball joint on top of that, so he can look up pretty well. He can look down a little bit, not a ton, and then he can tilt side to side somewhat, so that's cool. His arms can rotate. They do hinge up and down here as well as here. They do also rotate here. He does have a bicep twist, which is kind of interesting. The old toy didn't have one of those, so that's cool. He's got a double elbow, which I do think the old toy actually did have. So he's got a double elbow there. And then he's got a hinge in the hand, and his little pinkies can flip out. But I tend to leave them in when I have him in robot mode. It's just easier. Less crap hanging off them. Now, this wheel on the bottom, it does turn, and it can fold up, but if you fold the tracks out from the backhoe mode, the Big Daddy backhoe mode, he does actually sit a little better, which is cool. He's very stable like this. He's pretty stable without that, but I do it because, well, it's a stand. Essentially, it's a stand. So that is pretty much it for Scavenger here. He's cool looking. He's pretty gnarly looking. He's really out there in terms of design, but I like it. I always thought this design was pretty cool. I have the old figure from back in the day, and I'm happy to have this one. I mean, granted, the figure back in the day was called Demolisher, and he didn't turn into a torso for Devastator. But I digress. So before we wrap this up, why don't we bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibulith. There's his head. Wow. And the infamous Elephant Spawn, who, if we don't count the wheel on his back there, towers over everyone because, well, he's like a whole head taller than this guy. That's what happens when you got Quasimodo syndrome, folks. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and unlike the very much bizarre Hook, deluxe class Hook, that we took a look at the other day, I'm happy to say that good old leader class Scavenger / Demolisher, whatever you want to call him, is a very Bayformer that translates well. aesthetically. Yes, it's very different. The two big wheel thing is not normal. It just isn't. But for whatever reason, here, to me at least, it works. Leaps and bounds better than whatever the Sam Hell hook was. So, with that being said, I think it is time now that we move right along and take a look at that vehicle mode. And as promised, here's good old Scavenger, aka Demolisher, because they're practically the same dude, in his vehicle mode, his backhoe mode, or, as I called him in the scrap metal review, Big Daddy Backhoe mode. And I have to say, well, I don't typically use this term because, quite frankly, it grinds on my gears how much it's utilized nowadays. This figure is a little nostalgic for me in terms of the transformation because it reminds me of the 2009 Voyager class. Demolisher is what they called him back then. In the sense that it does have some of those very same elements, while at the same time adding something new so it doesn't just feel old and recycled. That said, if I put him like this, he can of course roll back and forth. I will say the only thing I don't care for is that these don't lock in up here. I tried like giving them a little push to see if they locked in, and they don't seem to lock into shit. So don't know what's up with that. What I do know is that the other leader class, Overload, skills okay with him. I think these two are about even Steven as far as scaling goes. I know Scavenger is a little taller and a little wider, but Overload, while not as wide, he ain't thin by much. He is significantly longer. Like, he is a long arse vehicle. So I do like that. He is also reissued, so you don't gotta pay like $2 bills for him on the aftermarket. So that's cool. That said, I think he's a Target exclusive, and, well, ironically, that's one of the exclusives my Target has, but surprise, surprise, I already have it, so I guess. But with that being said, until next time, his arm moves. Right there, and right there. I mean, it does this in robot mode, but I know if I forgot to point it out, somebody was going to give me shit in the comments. So, sorry, but I took that from you. I took it right away. You had it sitting there, right in front of you. And just like that, I took it away. Suck it. So, once again, with that being said, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.